Well, hello, smart investors. Ron Benning here with your Sacramento Fourplex market update for the period ending November of 2025. In this video, we're going to cover key developing market trends and take a look at the updated break-even GRM for Sacramento Fourplexes. These trends will help you understand where the market is today and where it's likely headed over the next couple of months. There's no doubt that these are some interesting times to be a fourplex buyer. There's some real bargains out there if you know where to look. So make sure you watch until the end to be in the loop. November 2025 continued to reinforce a strong buyer's market for Sacramento fourplexes with a 12-month supply based on closed sales. That's up 66.7% from October and up 100% higher than last year. If you're looking for negotiating leverage and discounted deals, the Sacramento Fourplex Market is offering exactly that right now. In the last few days of the month, I made offers on 3 value price fourplexes, and my client got an offer accepted at a huge discount, one of those fourplexes. One of the other properties we offered on went pending too. So we're starting to see buyers jumping in, recognizing the opportunity in the present market. Active inventory came in flat month over month, but 20% higher than last year, with 9 more fourplexes available compared to November of 2024. However, the bigger story is what happened with closed sales. 3 sales in November, down 40% from last month and down 40% from last year. Sales volume continues to decline, and with inventory holding steady, the imbalance is creating pressure on sellers. When you combine low sales with stable inventory, months of supply jumps quickly, and that's exactly what we've seen over the last 6 months or so. Buyers continued to gain power in November. If you've been watching these updates, I've been predicting this for months. The sold to original list price ratio dropped to 79%, meaning buyers are purchasing at an average 21% discount from the original asking price. That's a 15-point drop month over month and 16 points lower than last year. I haven't seen this level of buyer leverage in many years. This is the strongest negotiating environment Sacramento Fourplex buyers have had in well over a decade. But that doesn't mean you're going to steal every property. Properties that are priced right are still selling close to the asking price. Now, if you've been waiting to get into the market as a buyer, this is the time to get looking. Pending sales came in at 4, unchanged from last month, although I see a slight uptick in activity the first few days of December. However, they're still down 63.6% from last year. Flat pending activity combined with shrinking closed sales tells us the demand side is still soft. It also suggests we're unlikely to see any meaningful reduction in inventory unless either rates drop more or sellers stop listing new properties. I'm predicting an increase in pending sales this month, though. There are enough motivated sellers doing what it takes to sell to clear out some of the inventory. The average days on the market for sold fourplexes jumped to 100 days, rising 49.3% month over month and up 96.1% year over year. This signals two things. Buyers are moving cautiously and only aggressively priced properties are selling. Anything overpriced is simply sitting and sitting and sitting. Now let's take a look at the pricing trends, the average list and sold prices. Prices became more volatile in November, but the long-term trend remains downward. Average for sale price was $1,039,000. That's down only 0.3% month over month and down 14.3% year over year. The average sold price, however, $831,000, is down 16.1% month over month and down 12.4% year over year. These average sold prices are much more important than average list prices because this is what people are paying. And as you can see, people are gravitating towards the lower end of the market. It's pretty obvious when you look at the average list and sale prices over the last year, there's a strong downward momentum. The long-term slope of pricing will likely continue to drift downward as investors are starting to demand a reasonable profit in their investments. For the past several months, interest rates have been the primary driver of the fourplex market, and that continues to be the case. At the start of the year, Freddie Mac conforming 30-year rate was 7.04. By the end of August, it had dropped to 6.56. By the end of September, 6.3. But in November, the trend flattened and it was at 6.375 with the most recent 30-day average rate only dropping about 0.12% or roughly an eighth of a percentage. This leveling off of rate improvement is a major reason pending and closed sales softened a little bit over the last month or so. My opinion, and I may be wrong, is that those waiting for dramatically lower rates may end up disappointed. Inflation is creeping up again, hovering near 3%. And if it continues to rise, it could push rates back up. Rates may stabilize over the next 60 days and could even tick up slightly, even if the Fed lowers rates. Using updated pricing and a 25% down payment assumption, the break-even GRM for a Sacramento Fourplex this month is approximately 11.69. Good news for buyers. A significant portion of recent sales came in at or below this break-even point, meaning cash flow neutral or cash flow positive opportunities still exist, even in today's higher rate environment. Here's my 60-day market prediction for Sacramento Fourplexes. Pending sales, I think are going to go up a bit as savvy bargain hunters pick off some of the most motivated sellers, and closed sales will probably go up a little bit too for this reason. Inventory may decrease a little if sellers continue to cut prices to move aged inventory. If rates pick up, this new increase in activity will likely dry up and prices will weaken further. But if rates drop slightly, it may create a modest boost in demand, but we're still likely to see a buyer's market over the next few months. In short, sellers will be facing aggressive competition and buyers will hold the advantage. Buyer strategies. Finding cash flow deals is possible. For buyers, this is one of the best windows we've had in years. I'm just finishing up a new investor buyer strategy video where I discuss how to buy properties with below market rents and to gain a huge equity stake over 6 to 24 months. Watch for that video in the next week or two. Buyers are negotiating solid discounts right now, 8 to 21% below asking in some cases. But if the GRM is already below 12, big discounts will not likely be possible due to competition from other investors. 75% of recent sales would have broken even with 25% down. And interest-only loans can improve this cash flow in the short run. So the real discount opportunities are on aged inventory. If you're patient and willing to write a few offers, you can absolutely pick up a property at or below break even with today's rates. Sellers, it's not all bad news. Sellers who are selling now are still doing very well, and in most cases, they're selling for 2 to 3 times what they paid for their units in less than 10 years. But there is a limit to how far prices can go up, and at least in the short run, we hit that point several months ago. For sellers, the strategy is very clear. Price based on income, not comps. Keep GRM at or below break even. Expect buyers to negotiate. And most importantly, overpriced listings have almost zero chance of selling right now. Aggressive marketing is very important. And the type of marketing that I'm doing goes well beyond what other people are doing in the fourplex space. If you're curious about what I'm doing differently, reach out to me and I can explain very simply and easily what I'm doing that most other listing agents aren't and why it's working. But if you've been waiting for the peak of the market, it's time to act. There's a really good chance that the market actually probably peaked a few months ago. To get an update on your property's value or to get an update on what's a fair rent amount for your property, take a look for the links down below in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. It also might be a good time to consider doing a 1031 exchange to reposition your money into other markets, other properties in better areas, properties in better condition, or to move into a more passive DST investment. I have a question for you. Please use the comments below to let me know what topics you'd like to see a video on in the next month or two. Whether you're planning on buying or selling in the next 7 days or 7 months, give me a call or text. I'd love to help you plan a smooth and profitable real estate transaction.